Where's the love? Where's the love? It's right here in the heart of the city. I'm Silas Scranton. I got my guy with me.
What's up, champ?
What's up, Slim?
What it do, man?
What's going on?
Getting close to Christmas, man. I'm feeling festive, you hear me?
What's today, the 19th?
Yeah. Day the 19th, man. Christmas in 6 days.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Got to get the target, Doc. You got to
got to get the target, man.
Yeah. Well else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little truck in Walgreens.
Nah. Oh yeah. No,
I said that.
You did.
I ain't gone by there yet.
You ain't got there yet.
I ain't got there yet. My man worked in there.
Oh, that joke gone now.
It's just quite gone. But it ain't gone for her mind, though.
Yeah. Find that joint on Insta. I meant to say Amazon.
She's so picky, man. It's like
yeah. She wants that. Yeah, man. I still got some heavy lifting to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get it done. You feel me? Next couple days.
Well, yeah. I got you. Man, a lot has happened since we were together in the last week. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, I know where I'm going to begin. Yeah. Congratulations, man. NFL acknowledged you.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That, you know what, man?
As a change maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, bro.
I found out a little bit before you, but I couldn't tell you.
Was him?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Look,
we were trying to surprise you, but it just didn't go that way. Yeah.
But I mean, man, dang, man, I'm really honored by that. Mm-hmm. And shout out to all the other people that got acknowledged around the country that represent the different franchises in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I know it's so many people in this area that's doing phenomenal work. So, to be able to be, chosen, and hopefully I want people to see too that I represent us, all of us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm honored, man. I appreciate. Shout out to the commanders, man. Take command. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, take command of your community. You feel me? Yeah, man. So that's big. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool way to end the year. You know what I'm saying? It's been a hell of a year, and I feel really good about that.
Yeah,
man.
Well deserved, man.
Yeah,
the one thing I keeps playing in my mind is just again setting that standard for what it means to be rewarded on the back end for so much work. And not just busy work, but moving mountains. Yeah, and not just moving mountains for yourself, but like for other people. Yeah. And it's just, I think that every year has been a different chapter for you. And I've been watching it 13 years now, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And, it is an amazing case study, so to speak, just to watch,
I appreciate
that. The progress. And to have seen it as closely as I've seen it, I mean, it can really be something that can be documented and written about. Like, man, this is an incredible effort, right? And when I say this, we could just talk about reentry. We could talk about legislation. We could talk about policy in the education space. We could talk about employment and job development. There's like 12 different sectors that we could talk about that you've been really entrenched in. So it's a tremendous
I appreciate
thing to
it,
see.
dog. Obviously you've been a big part of everything, you feel what I'm saying? But I think about, just what you saying. It's like, man, and like to continue to serve, trying to find how can I serve more people or be more strategic, more intentional about helping us. You know what I'm saying? Because I want for other people what I want for myself. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like you say, man, it just continues on. But in one way, it's like, but like the fight continues, but we don't want to have to keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't, we want to have to keep fighting at every turn. But in some cases, it's a must. And man, it's just I do I think about like, man, once upon a time though, there wasn't people within our profile that were seen as the leaders, and one of the things that's always been important to me is to make, we've talked about this here too, but making this like something that a little boy or little girl can say, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know we there yet, but I'm happy that there are in terms, because when you start talking about the recognition, that's what that does though. It says, oh, you can get recognized by the NFL by helping people. Yeah. Or whatever it may be, or your song, your name can be in a song from helping people, or what? Oh, okay. Well, then maybe because people are attracted to the things that they feel like get attention, and so you don't do it for the attention, as like kind of what we talking about last time. You doing it so that other people can say, you know what, I might want to do that. I might want to be a pillar in my community. I might want to be somebody that helps those around me. And that's all you pray for, man, is that you can have a positive impact on other people.
Yeah, you brought that up, and it reminded me of something that happened this week. Angel was at home on her couch looking at her phone, and some students at a local school, were studying her business model, and they were doing a in-class project. Yeah. She saw it, put some clothes on, and went to the school.
Man, look at God. You feel me?
And what you said.
So just for context for Angel, so I can be clear when I call her.
Okay.
Right. So they studying her in the class. Yeah. Okay, Angel. Yeah. And then she say, but that's hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. It is
hard,
though,
bro.
because I think what you talked about was like what can the kids look at as an example, and even if Dr. King were alive when we were coming up, Dr. King wasn't going to pull up to our school.
Yeah, right.
But now the heroes that our kids can look to, because I think we've been focusing lately, when I say we, I mean the city. You talk to a 13-year-old kid, his favorite rapper is a DC rapper.
Yeah.
Right? His favorite athlete, more than likely, comes from this area and has gone pro out of this area. Yeah. But now, when you talk about pillars in the overarching black community, man, there's some people right here
that you can touch,
that you can really engage with,
that your mother know,
that your mother knows, right?
And so, for real.
I think in the midst of all the turmoil, so to speak,
sure,
there's some progress that's happening.
Ain't no question about it.
So
we can't never not hone in on that either.
Yeah.
And that's and for me to be in a tribe with y'all is again another thing that just continues to. Again, this is sort of like a lot of what we've talked about, playing this off. I want to talk about being inspired by the people around you, that you keep pushing, right? So like Angel grows the spice sweet into Black and Forth. How can I not? That's my sister. That's my thought partner, my partner, right? How can I not be inspired by that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You losing 2,000 pounds doing incredible workshops from the school age level up to corporate. How can I not be inspired by that? Nah, for real though. You know what I mean? Not 2,000, but not for real. That level of dedication and commitment. And let's go on and on. And I ain't gonna go into I'm just talking about you and Angel right now. But my point is, those are the things of why it keeps me inspired, bro. And it keeps me trying to figure out what's best. Or when I get tired, or when I'm not as motivated as I feel like I need to be, because the world beat me up, you know what I'm saying? But then you're able to hear or talk, have a conversation, or see something, say, man, okay, let me get in my bag. You know what I mean? And I hope people out there, whether we have a personal relationship with you or not, that you can glean from us in that same way. That's what this is about, because we all share space. You know what I'm saying? And it's no way that you can just want you and the people you mess with to do all right and think y'all gonna be all right, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to be doing all right, because that's gonna make me more all right. That ain't taking nothing from me. That's gonna make this community a safer place. It's gonna make a place where my children can grow up and thrive in a more efficient way, in a safer way. That's how I see the world.
It shows that when other people are thriving, you're in the right place.
I'm telling you.
I think about. So I used to work at AARP, 6 and E Street Northwest, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 Starbucks within walking distance.
Yeah.
So the fact that you could have 2 or 3 of them means you're in the right place.
You're in the right place.
Right? Sometimes we want to have success to ourselves. And if there's enough space for success to be, if somebody else's success to be in coexistence with yours, that means that it's an abundant place that you in.
Facts. And some people are just so hell bent on being the only one. You know, they get a kick out of being the only one. They're not interested in creating space for other people. But how long do you propose? How long is that sustainable? How long can you just be the one?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. I also wonder.
And no, I'm just saying. I think because I think people confuse. And I might want to be the best. I don't want to be the only. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, those two things can be done. Some people see as I'm the one. You know, it's cool to want to be the best at what you do. I don't want to be the only person doing well, if that makes sense.
I think that can also, I never really thought about it this way in detail, but now that you're speaking to that, there's also something to be said about how we were educated growing up, specifically as Black people, where we had 1 month, Black History Month, and then in every sector there was one person. Yeah. So subconsciously as a kid, you may have been convinced that
programmed that it's only can be.
It's only one person at a time.
Yeah. That's why we don't, and that's why, again, man, everything we talk about, we don't just talk about, we live it. We live it. We try to help, you know, next generation. We try to help those around us, you know what I'm saying? Even when people may not see it that way. But what I think, you know, or I hope people pull away from when you see the type of success that we've had or continue to have, is that there's a you know, it's a method to this, and it's clear that sharing in the mindset of helping the people around you and working together can lead to successful outcomes. You know what I'm saying? With everybody moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? And again, man, I'm just thankful again for this recognition, but for all, you know, the awards or acknowledgments that I've received, you know what I'm saying, through my career. And I know you used to have this running joke, you know what I'm saying, or it wasn't so much a joke, but more of a statement like, what if I would have stopped at the hoodie award?
I was going to say that earlier when you was talking. I was like, imagine, and it was specifically the Washington Post feature.
Oh yeah.
Like what if you'd have stopped there?
Yeah, it was a seminal moment.
There are people that would still be using that as Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
That would be there every week, throwback. I was in the Post. They put me in the A section.
Definitely front page,
front page,
yo.
Yeah. It's like you front page.
But that joke, that was, but that was like 2010.
That seemed like
a
lifetime ago.
I don't even think about it. But that was 2010. That was, you know, the irony of it. I do remember this. Shout out to Teresa Vargas, who now like has her own column, and she's a professor at Georgetown and stuff. She wrote that I had just started at CSOSA in 2009. We were in the recession, and I reached out to her. I read an article she wrote on the impact of the recession on people. Like they said, it was like 7 folks that had lost their jobs, was seeking jobs, and they was talking about just, you know, what they were going through. And I wrote, I wrote, you know, I emailed her. You know how you read the post online, you can email the writer, and I emailed her like, I want what you're describing, in terms of what these people are going through in the recession, man. Returning citizens go through that when our economy is booming. So imagine what the returning citizen is going through right now. And she responded like, wow, I never thought about that. And my point was that they're not even in the running right now based on the recession. And so the conversation with her started out around that. And then when she learned more about me and why I was doing the work and where, you know, it turned into the story that we.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But it told the same. It obviously highlighted the work I was doing in helping returning citizens and their plight. So that made it. But the thing was still around me and my dad and why, you know, my sort of maturation into the person that I was at that time. And that started in the end, like this time of the year, 2009, and then the article wound up coming out in January of 2010.
Can I say 2 things to that? 2 things. One, you didn't email her saying, why don't you know me? You should be covering me. Okay. You emailed her about the plight of other people that you've been trying to help. So That's one thing I think that should be noted. Sometimes when we're doing the work individually, we think everybody's supposed to know at this particular moment what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you reached out just in a genuine way. Hey, here's a perspective that you might not have thought about. And then from there, caused a conversation or a continuum of discussions, right?
Yep.
That led to, oh, let's feature him.
Yep. That's exactly how.
So that's a little bit of context for people that are listening to you tell the story. Second thing I'll say is that I think that I think it's important just to note again how much was done after that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How much was done after that? Because if your goal is to be seen, the cell phone has transformed that. You can go do something crazy on TikTok and be seen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to offer
after that?
Once
Yep.
you get seen?
Yep. Therein lies the question. And that's symbolic of, for real, what substance and how can you continue on? You know what I'm saying? And I don't even like to, I don't feel like I've reinvented myself. Right? Say 13 years, I've just added on dynamic dimensions to myself. I've grown, right? And that's different. And so in whatever you do, I think you should be looking to grow, to get better, to learn more. You know what I'm saying? And showing up in space from that to the Hoodie Award came the next year and all the other stuff. But it's like continuously fighting for that same group of people that I reached out to Teresa Vargas about. You know, essentially. Yeah. And my work has really been about helping them in every other issue that impacts them. So if it's working with their children, bringing supports to them. If it's about interrupting violence in the communities where they live, this is the most fragile community there is. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as being unsafe. You know, we talk about this population a lot of times from this perspective of are they putting public safety at risk? But in many cases, they're the people that get victimized the most, right? Talking about gentrification, talking about food insecurity, talking about housing. All of that is driven by me trying to do my part to help that population stabilize. And I will bet my life on the fact if we ever centered that population and helped them stabilize, it would have a direct impact on all the rest of us. Agreed. You know what I'm saying? Agreed. And I look at, you know, my service as exactly that. It's never been about me. You know what I'm saying? Even in my fight for my father's freedom, you know, it's so many things that I could have, man, it could have been just fight. Nah, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it was about let's fight for, I'm gonna talk about free Tony Lewis, of course. But I'm talking about other people's freedom. You know what I'm saying? The masses' freedom, even supporting things that, and we talked about this before too, but like even the First Step Act itself, and me being asked to leverage our story or advocate for it, go on the news, I did all of that being completely convinced that it would have no bearing on my dad. Yeah. 2-point reduction, I thought it would have bearing on my dad, but it did not. You understand what I'm saying? Fought and did campaigns and all that, push all this stuff. So it's like, but you got to do things all I'm saying is you got to do things for the right reasons. That's how you get longevity. You know what I'm saying? When you always looking about what's in it for you, you might have your moment. To your point, you might have your moment. I'm not saying, but we seen a lot of people have that moment, and that was it.
Let me say one other thing, and then we can push forward. But Teresa Vargas, at the time, you said she did not have like this big, regular column, right? Yeah. Sometimes we like to reach out to the big dog in the space. In that space, it would have been at the time Mike DeBonis,
sure.
And I think about all the conferences I go to and the ballrooms that I'm in, and everybody's running to the front trying to meet the speaker. But there may be somebody sitting next to you that is also growing at the pace that you are, and look at where she is today, look at where you are today, and instead of chasing the big dog, you built a relationship with somebody who was also on the come up.
Telling you.
And we don't often
Boy,
think about it that way.
Hey, listen. But you helped me, not so much even with the Teresa situation reaching out, but just helping. You helped me understand that even on a larger level. That goes across industry.
Mm-hmm.
That just, and I think as understanding that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might wanna, people will be talking, I want to talk to the whoever it is, the council member, the mayor, the CEO, the record exec, you want to talk to the person that they talk to. Yeah. I've learned that. You helped me see, which helped me even see that even more. And that's so deep. That's so deep. That's so deep. And I remember when I used to teach, job readiness. I don't get a chance to do it as much as I used to. But I remember somebody when you go for an interview, right? And the receptionist, you know what I'm saying? And how important it was to always make that person feel seen and respected. Because when you finish that interview with the manager or whomever behind in that office, they with that person every day, they gonna come out and they like, hey, what you think about that? You understand what I'm saying? So that's an example. I used to say that, that's how life works, man. Everybody you run into, you treat with respect and dignity, and you never know where people going. You never even really know who people are. A lot of times people, if they don't know your title, especially one thing about this District of Columbia, boy, that title thing mean.
It's mean.
I had a situation the other day. I still, I just think, and I didn't take it personally, but I just know sometimes that people will pretty much, sometimes if they don't get a full understanding, you know what I mean, based on what your role may be on paper, they'll talk like you ain't their peer. You know what I mean? I respect where you are and, your role and all that. You know what I'm saying? But no, you're not my peer. If we really gonna be on in the situation I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But I'm fine. Okay, no worries. Cool. But people get too caught up in that. Yeah. And that's how they miss things. They always you want to chase the person that you think is I get it. Yeah. But that person ain't always present. That person relies on this person. Your best bet might be to talk to this person.
Yeah, so my sort of professional, I guess, mantra is helping leaders make better decisions. And I've worked for, a good number of powerful leaders. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times one of them have said, what you think? Yeah, I'm just going to go with what you think.
I'm going to go with this one. That's right.
And there's some people who have been impacted by that. They have no idea that it was really.
It was,
that was like yay or nay, or I think.
Facts.
What am I going to say in this moment? Write this down. Write down what I should be saying.
And most leaders have that person.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember, I can't even remember exactly who it was, but I shared with somebody that a leader told me to meet with, somebody else, on their staff, and I was offended. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, you gonna tell me to meet? The person like, oh nah, oh nah, he told you to meet with that person because that's the person you need. But again, I always been a listener. I'm like, oh really? Right? I was like, oh, so then from that point on, that again, and then you like. Things you share with, I'm like, okay, I get it. But that's ego, right? And I ain't afraid, that's what I mean about growing and learning, right? And listening, right? Sometimes the messaging may not come from somebody that's your quote unquote mentor. You know what I'm saying? It might, but you gotta be able to pick up on things when you trying to get better. You gotta be able to get out your own way and say, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Give yourself grace. Like, we all make mistakes. I made 1,000 mistakes. You know, some things I was super blind to. Like, I didn't even know. I just didn't know no better. Sometimes that worked out for me. Sometimes it didn't. But it's okay, right? Because I grew through these situations. You know what I mean? But when a person continues to like be in these situations where if it's just about self, then you gonna feel like shit. I'm always in the right. You know what I'm saying? They wrong, man. They got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Or you personalize everything. Like, they just don't want me here. You know what I mean? And sometimes I guess that probably could be true. I feel like that could be true in different cases. But in most times it's like, nah, it ain't that. You can't take everything personally. And even if it is, cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cause one of the things that's helped me a lot is what's for me is for me. The rooms that I'm supposed to be in or whatever it is, I'll get there. Keep your eye on the prize. The prize is the people. I'm not chasing nobody's invite. I'm not chasing nobody's company, validation, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I want to help these people. Yeah. And that's what has guided me through all whatever. You know what I mean? That's what continues to keep me in a good space. You know what I mean? Because my eye always on these people. And for anybody out there that that have felt a way about anything I've done or said, that's cool. Because I did it for the people. You do right by the people, man, you ain't got no problems. And I'm willing to, you know what I'm saying? But I'm willing to challenge myself to, you know, be better, to, again, compromise, to see things from the other side. But ultimately, particularly in the spaces that we're in, any of us, our job is to help people. If you're not helping people, we can be cool, we was cool and all that, or whatever the case may be. But when I find out, you know, that you ain't about what you say you about, we can't be cool. Everybody out there, and I'm not saying I'm not cool with nobody. My point, what I'm saying is that we have a standard. There's a real standard in terms of we're not playing about this. Like, as we talked about a little bit, this really real. So be about, do what you say when it comes to people, bro. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And you'll be okay. You'll get everything that you looking for. Hopefully I can be an example of that, dog. You gonna get what you know. Don't worry about making nobody list. Don't worry about, you know, because, you know, it happens. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Let me say this real quick, right? This for everybody out there. The 40 and under list, the 30 and under list, the 20 and under list, however many under lists, right? Any sort of awards, you'd be surprised how many people that host awards or give awards online, and, you know, let's say hypothetically, you run a company, you're giving out awards in your industry or sector. I report to you in the org structure. You come to me and you like, Silas, man, find 10 people. Yeah. And if this is my seat that I sit in every day, this is my computer, this is my fax machine, this is my office phone, I'm on swivel. I'm not trying to even get up out there to go to the printer. So I'm not going to go that far to find who I think should be recipients. So for anybody to be worried about those lists, trust me, a lot of times they're picking from right where the fruit drops.
Yeah. Who they know.
Right. You know, I mean, there are some people who do the due diligence and like, I want to find somebody in the crevice.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't get caught up in that sort of stuff because I've seen it.
Just do the work. Keep doing the work. Whatever your work is.
Do the work.
Just keep doing the work. Do the work. That's it, bro. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? You'll be all right. Yeah, that's funny as hell.
So along the lines of the people doing the work, staying the course, and what you said a while ago about it's always a new fight happening, right? It seemed like when the coast is clear, it's not clear. There was a situation that happened this week. What started as a planned event for your family to go to a very prestigious place, the White House.
Correct.
And you were there, your wife, your children, your dad, and also another comrade in the fight for the people, Eric Weaver, and his grandchildren. You guys went to the White House and thought the boxes were checked, and they weren't necessarily checked the way you thought they were. I'm gonna stop there, but I want you to just talk a little bit about it.
We was, happy to go to the little holiday tour, at the White House. You register, they'll put your social in, you put all that on, and they send you back an email saying you are confirmed to attend. We arrive, they tell you arrive, 15, 20 minutes early. We in line. And me, man, I always joke on joke time. I say, hey, Pop, what do these people knock you off when we get up here, right? I'm joking. I said just like that. He laughing. He saying, "Oh man, yeah, man." He said he might. We joking. We laughing. We get up to the front. Checkpoint, Secret Service. You gotta show your ID. And the lady like, hey, your date of birth wrong to my dad. Is he first?
Or they thinking it's you?
Yeah, and but she like, it was 528. I know that's me. Boom. She's like, okay, what do just da da da. It's like, oh well, everybody on the list. You not on the list, but that's not unusual. Just go over there. You know what I mean? So we like cool. In my mind, I'm like, oh man. So Smooth him in the line next to us. So his people go through. We meet at
he's the only adult in his immediate part.
No. He had it was some other adults with him.
Oh, okay.
He like, yeah, they said I ain't on the list. That's when I said, uh-oh. I said, oh, man. So we go over to the side. People very nice. Let me say that, too. I think that's important. Nobody's, like, disrespectful or none of that. Nobody's even like, oh, you're not on. It's none of that. It's very pleasant, respectful. I just think that's it. With people, I want to say that. We over on the side. Ben Crump and his people that's with him, he there, too. He waiting for whatever reason. Cool, they come, they give him, Ben Crump go in with his people, another person, boom. They come. Miss Lewis, and this is the part that kind of was like triggering for real. They steps him off, the two Secret Service, uniform Secret Service folks walk him off, I ain't like that for real. I mean, I get why they did it in a way, but they should have said all of us come with them, because it just looked, It was triggering for us to like, dang, how many times we just seen the COs or in the visitor hall walk away from us, that kind of thing. But anyway, so boom, they basically just like, yeah, you can't come in. Now, I'm like, he like telling us to go ahead. Y'all go ahead and take it. I'm like, nah, we ain't going in. If you can't go in, we can't go in. So we wind up, they escort us off the premises, literally, right? They escort you off the premises. You got to go. Ain't no whole lot of, you got to go. So I stood out front. And then maybe about 4 minutes later, my phone ring is Smooth. I answer the phone. I'm like, what's up? I'm saying in my mind, like, maybe he's saying, yeah, man, they denied me too. He's like, man, I'm walking down now. I said, yeah, I can hear you. I'm looking right. I said, we looking for. He thought we left. I'm like, nah, man, we looking right at you. They walking him out. It's 3 of them walking him out. The only one person walked us. It's not funny, but I said, oh man. Now, this is the thing for me. With my dad just coming home. First of all, Smooth charge is 36 years old. My father's conviction, is 34 years old, right? My father's been home only 9 months. He's still on supervision, right? But Smooth's been home 14 years. Mm-hmm. He's not on supervision. The White House reached out to his organization, to him specifically, in his organization to refer people. His organization works solely with returning citizens.
That's their core.
Okay. And what I want people to think about in this, if I'm somebody that meets my father's profile, meaning somebody that's just re-entering, Eric Weave is somebody you're going to point to and say, that's the way you do it. Right? You do everything right. You help your community. You work. You don't reoffend. You stay, you do what he's done. But when, in that situation, when whether you just got out recently or you got out 14 years ago, whether you reoffended or whether you've been doing everything right, in the eyes of America, you're still seen as a criminal. That's what's problematic. That's what enraged me, because it says something. And men and women that have been justice involved deal with that anxiety everywhere they go.
Bro, just real quick, let me interject.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this to you, or maybe even on this platform, but I recently read the book Jump.
Yeah, the guy,
Larry Miller.
You heard him from,
This guy was the vice president of the Jordan brand.
Yeah.
And vice president of the Portland Trailblazers at one point. Got his college degree while in prison. Came home and he lived with that his entire life. And he wrote about going to the White House and how he basically, by the skin of his teeth, got in without anybody knowing and things getting pulled up. So a guy at that level, you know, Fortune 500 company, multi-millionaire executive, has a past, did time in his teens, and it never escapes.
It's ever present.
Yeah.
It's ever present. And I think we must think about that in the broader context, right? Of what we see in community, what we see in people's ability to see themselves. What we don't give we'll point to, say, a Eric Weaver and say to people, but what we underestimate is the level of resilience and how special some of those guys are, right? What I always think about, we've talked about this, in our conversations. I always think about the person that's not extraordinary in the way that they are, the person that's not as resilient. Should it be that difficult? Is there a real, true road to redemption in this country for people that have had past transgressions, right? But people that have been held to account, people that have served their debt. And one thing about when you work anywhere, right? Is something called taxes. When you're a taxpayer, and I heard people, what you mean why I went to the White House?
Oh, yeah.
What you mean? That's my house. Like it's yours. What you mean? I pay taxes every week or whatever I get paid. Any money I make, I gotta give the federal government some of it.
Real quick, I saw a clip of Michelle Obama last night. It may have been an old clip, but like she talked about how they were getting charged for every time they ordered food in there, and like how itemized everything really is, and how even them as
as the first family.
Yeah, it's first family.
Yeah.
Like if they want to snack at night, they got itemized.
Yes.
So to that point, we all are paying for it.
We're paying for exactly. And for black people, particularly poor black people, we don't think about it like now. And that's what I'm saying. I'm always hold America to what it's supposed to do. And I'm going to take my kids because one of them can be in that motherfucker one day. Facts. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm not taking what you mean. So in all that build out, we doing that. They ain't mutually exclusive though. We're going to build our own things and do our own things, but we still going to make sure that they or it does what it's supposed to do. That's how I see it. So it's like I was more offended by Smooth being denied than my father being denied. But what was sad about it and unprofessional about it and embarrassing about it, y'all could have sent an email when you sent the confirmation one. You could have said he can't come. I wouldn't have really felt the way about that like that. Yeah. You don't do that though in real time. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So like they dropped the ball big time. We have to continue to acknowledge how offensive that is to say that these spaces ain't for people that, been justice involved. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Like you can't tell me that that's un-American. And I get when people that we gotta change. Like no, we can't keep sitting by and just saying that's just the way that it is. You know what I mean? It's not the way it's supposed to be. And like we know anything else we can change things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I plan on, having conversations. I do appreciate the people from the work within the White House that have reached out today. and hopefully we'll have some more series of conversations. I can't get that back. My kids crying and seeing the unfairness in the situation. Can't nobody do nothing to remedy that. That happened. You know what I mean? But hopefully it'll open up the door for conversations where, one, we can help connect more families, right? But then we also can eventually get some policy change where, that can't be the practice. You can't have people arriving, bro, to the White House, taking time out. They planning a whole day around a trip to the White House, and then they get to the gate, and you tell them no, and it's hundreds of people in line. People saw that. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. Not that I really care about that so much, but they did though. What if I did care?
And you would have the right to care. That's the part that
absolutely.
Oftentimes we are supposed to grin and bear it.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of, you know what I mean. Yeah. And our muscle memory of dealing, we are. Yeah. And our muscle memory to deal. And you start saying, "Well, this ain't nothing compared," but it is. It's a big deal. That shit should not have happened. You know what I'm saying? And not just to us. It shouldn't happen to nobody. Yeah. If you're gonna deny folks, then you give people you do your due diligence. Y'all can't keep doing that. And I know we weren't the first. You know what I'm saying? That this has happened to. But like. Ain't nobody just showing up at the White House, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of communication. There's an invite there, and when you should say that's something they got to do on the back end. Like, yo, and maybe y'all need to have more distance between your events in the invite process. Or whatever. I don't know what the issues are, where the gaps lie, but hopefully this don't happen to nobody else.
Yeah. I think in this country we focus a lot on racism, but there's also a different level, which I like to call placism, where everybody has a place in your mind. So it's good enough that we freed you. You lucky that we freed you. You lucky you have a job. So we're not going to totally unshackle every chain.
And that separation, or those barriers to separate, they exist. Man. And we got to break them down. You know what I'm saying? At every, and I do want to, I think it's value in, obviously, us building our own things and all that. I get all that. Right? And I'm not adverse to that. But we cannot keep describing doing that in a way in which, because we not going, like, you're not going to a separate country. You feel where I'm at? And if you do, like, okay, but if we in America, man, we gonna make America be what it's supposed to be for us. You know what I'm saying? Like that, what system ever got changed totally from the outside? You know what I'm saying? Or not engaging it. And I get it, right? But we learn from the past. We learn from where the missteps of the past. No, we call for better and call for more. I don't be understanding people's logic in that all the way. Like, what do you mean? That they're not mutually exclusive. That go without saying. And I know where people be coming from, but I don't know if they understand where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't no way. Is that? Of course we gonna do that. But you think I'm I pay my, again, as an American, I pay my taxes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call on my government, my leader, the leadership of this country, to be what it's supposed to be for my people. And in this case, like, for my family. Like, nah, what you mean?
And there are people who saw your post and saw Smooth's post yesterday and may have been thinking, like you said, why would I even go to the White House, as if being free is enough? Like, you can't enjoy all of the benefits of the country as a free person. Yeah. That you had the audacity to think.
Yeah, you think, ain't it too soon? To do what? You know what I'm saying? Even if, and my father, what you mean though? Like, also it's like, what you mean we not supposed to go to the White House? And I want you, like I was going for a state dinner. We were going to see the decorations. Like, let's be clear, I was going there for my children. People just, somebody was like, why would you take your daughters there? What do you mean?
Huh?
Yeah, people like, why you trying to take your kids to the White House anyway? They don't mess with us. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I got
from that
you.
lens.
Okay. I got you.
It's like, I'm going to take my kids to the White House, to the Capitol, to whatever, right? We live in the District of Columbia, but also I want them to see that they can be in them places.
And them people saying that to you, they got .gov email addresses.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. That's what I'm saying. Go live off the grid.
Yeah, if you hate the government, you got a .gov email address.
Bruh, go live off the grid then.
Yeah.
Go move then. You know what I'm saying? There's no, fam, that stuff be lacking context. I be getting where, somewhat the perspective, right? To a degree. But it's like, nah. And that's cool. But I ain't gonna never tell you what you should be doing with your kid on a whole nother level. I ain't never doing that.
Especially in the comments.
In the comment. I don't know you. Don't never tell me. Yeah. Don't never question. You know what I mean?
You taught me one of the early conversations we had years ago, the penalty of leadership, right? And I always remember that conversation. And since then, I've taken that concept of the penalty of leadership, which is essentially, you pay the price for leading.
Yeah.
But I've looked at not just the penalty of leadership, but like the penalty of being able to understand, the penalty of communication, communicating well. Yeah. Whatever you do really well, the penalty for that is that you'll be surrounded by people who don't do it well.
Yeah, how about that? Dang.
So if you communicate really well, you got to deal with people who don't.
Yep.
That's the penalty for growing that much.
Facts. Facts. And it's like if you applaud somebody like me for being, an activist, an advocate, somebody that helps other people. Again, we just going for the decorations. Let's be clear. It wasn't even like a official thing. That's the seat of power. What do you mean? Why would I go to the White House? And does me so this is the part we gotta think about too. It's sort of our warped, I think, sometimes mentality, right? If you going to the White House does not mean that you are in support of, it doesn't mean you adversarial either. But my point is that, what does not going accomplish? We are in a deficit situation. What if we were trying? I'm just saying, if it was about politics or policy or trying to get things. What? These are talking.
These are the same people that, when it's time to renew their tags, and you got $2,000 in outstanding tickets, you just hit select all and you pay for your renewal.
Yeah.
You ain't saying, I'm gonna be rogue and just drive on it. You follow the guidelines when it's on you. But people play Monday morning quarterback all day long.
Else, man.
There's so many basic examples that people do.
Sure.
Right? Like, you pay them tickets.
Yeah.
You pay your taxes. You show up to work every day with that .gov email address.
Yeah, you militant.
You a militant, but you work for the Department of Labor.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you not the spook that sat by the door.
You not
even on that type of time.
It is so crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but also you talked about the penalty of leadership. A lot of times, like we kind of being able to kind of vent, but all at the end of the day, I take it all in just. I ain't never been driven. I don't get off on the comments, whether they for me or against me. Again, I'm gonna continue to do the work. And I'm damn sure gonna continue to be a husband and a father. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna expose my children. Even if it's two little black girls, if I wanna arm them. I read a comment, and I thought it was I don't know what perspective she had because I didn't get all in it, but I saw something she wrote that I thought was deep. She talked about, for our next generation, black kids, we gotta give them the blueprints, the recipes, We have to, so no matter how you feel, we have to introduce them to how the world works.
It's funny you bring that up.
I thought that was brilliant. She might have been saying it to chop my head off. I don't know, but I just thought that was a.
You took it the way you took it.
I took it the way I took it, and I thought it was a brilliant comment. I absolutely agree.
I was having this conversation today. Scooty and I walk on Tuesdays together, right? And we were just talking about this, how we fight so much for the things that we want, and we want so much more for our children. Have we ever stopped to write down what we want them to experience so that they can see it? Like a manifesto, so to speak. We talked about that today.
It's real. And that's what that sister was saying.
I think we've been fighting so long for, what the rainbow over the
right, like the
whatever that is, right? The light at the end of the tunnel. But we never really stop and describe it to a T, because sometimes you get to a point that you thought you wanted, but you didn't articulate it well enough, and it doesn't look like you thought it was going to look.
Yeah, like we got it right now.
It's like free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. But what does that really mean?
Yeah, sure. And like, oh man, that even go, for real. And even like, even like the quest is also like, it's like, so like, where like, what's the story in Moses, right? They trying to get the people to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? But like, what happens when you get there? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that'll be left up to the people that get there, in the vein of like the I Have a Dream speech and free, like, I wouldn't even say we're free at last, but we're further, in some ways, we're further ahead than our people in this country then, right? And we're continuing to, again, man, like, and also we got to fight. I think sometimes people they romanticize the past in a way in which it's like we should be fighting in that way.
Yeah.
You
talked about that the last episode, the Euro and things change in sports,
facts.
The way the game is played. Yeah.
And we spend so much time trying to critique and be hurt, give our opinion, versus again back to doing the work. Yeah. And the doers do, So any doer out there too, you gotta kind of block out the noise. I mean, we all human. We all see things that may, but we gotta leaders lead, bro. And I always say that, especially in time of like a leader's lead. You cannot, and I never lead people. For my benefit, I ain't never lead nobody off the cliff. Yeah. Ain't never doing that. That's an irresponsible leader. And I ain't got all the answers, but it's one thing I will never willingly do, lead people in a direction just so I can look sweet or that I could get, you know what I'm saying? I think even in that situation, that's how I communicate. I state things plainly. Like people can go where they want to. I ain't mad at nobody's opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't want you to necessarily. I'm not even telling you how to feel about that situation. And I also think that situation again. We could talk about who's currently in the White House, right? But this same situation has happened under, we go back presidents, you know what I'm saying? This is like a Secret Service type situation. And so what I'm saying, it's a policy situation. And that's the same thing at your employer, where it's baked in certain things about justice involved people, or the housing, the property management company, or you know what I'm saying, the banks, or the life insurance, or the fucking federal SBA loans. Like all this stuff is baked in. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like I ain't even making it about, but the person who's currently in our president, our current president, as a senator, was very heavily involved in our system of mass incarceration. So when you have issues pertaining to justice involved people, it has a different connotation when it's something that's coming to happen at his White House.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And for the masses, that's how people see it. So they're gonna attribute it specifically to him.
Yeah.
And he has not done enough around clemency, and things of that nature. So people were like, "Well, dang, how you feel?" And that is what the broader takeaways was because we went through that. And people know what I stand for. People know what Smooth stand for. So that's, hopefully this is something that will, again, be addressed, that nobody else will go through that, but that we also can start having broader conversations about clemency, about the federal government being a second chance employer, these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, teasing out some of the things like this administration has put a enormous amount of money into violence interruption work, really made it a thing. The VI, speaking of going to the White House, I hope they get in. They having this national VI training program that's coming out of the University of Chicago with Erica Ford, Chico Tillman, Marcus McAllister. They training VIs from all over on how to really, not just VI, but people that's in gun violence intervention work, how to really be leaders in the work. And their graduation is going to be at the White House. And most of those guys, if not all men and women, are just as involved. And this administration is doing that. I you know me, I always want to, I don't like to, you know, just say the bad, you know, and a lot of the money that's going to the communities through these federal grants that's coming out of this administration for this kind of work, these organizations are hiring returning citizens. And I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't enough when people gotta go through what we went through what they went through yesterday. You see what I'm saying? We gotta do it all. We can't just be like, but what about this? That ain't enough when it don't translate to all these different sectors, because we're not gonna be whole until that happens. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the message that I want to run up. You know what I mean? So they'll be very clear on that. You know what I mean? Because it becomes like oxymoronic. Like, okay, you did this, but then you do not. Yeah, like that don't make sense. Yeah. And we've been through that enough, to your point earlier. Like we've been accustomed to that. This a new day. Nah, it's time. We want it all. Like, do what's right. So that should go across. This is why when somebody do their time, you feel what I'm saying? That should be it.
That's it. And the thing that I think, where my mind goes with this, is that people who are justice involved got involved initially, some of them, if not a lot, if not all, because they felt like that this society did not include them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the front end of the story. They go serve their time, they come out, and then now you're telling them they can't be involved in all that is our country. So to your point, very much early in the conversation, if we put a focus on the least of us, all of us will benefit. And if all of us benefit from the least of us having the attention given to them, that makes them feel a part of the country, which would avoid them or people that come from their tree from ever being justice involved ever again. So, yeah, the White House invite is ceremonial. It's not going to take any food off your dad's plate, but it's very symbolic of we are embracing you and other people like you who've done your time. And for the record, I think you've talked about this on here before, but had your dad been sentenced in a modern time, he would have the time that he served would have been all the time he had to serve anyway. Yeah, fact. So he didn't get a freebie when he got out.
He did not. He did a max sentence.
Yeah, he still would have maxed out at 30.
He did a max sentence.
Yeah, so you know what? This is not he got off. No, he didn't get off. They just adjusted what it was supposed to be.
It was right. That's it. He served a 40-year sentence. Yeah. 34 years, 85%. You do 85% of your time in the federal system. Yeah, he didn't get out of jail free. Yeah. But yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's like his debt should be paid. He should be able to go to the White House. Yeah. But certainly somebody who been home 14 years.
Like Smooth,
yeah. What are we saying?
Has businesses.
Oh my God.
You know, doing, and you mentioned earlier life insurance. He was the one that told me that in some instances, returning citizens are not able to get life insurance.
Correct.
So one of the biggest ways in which people the people who built this country built their wealth is through life insurance. And now you're telling this person, no, you can't be in that because you got.
Yeah, how does that even equate? You know? But yeah, man, that's what we are. So, but you know, the girls are good. You know, I'm good. We looking forward to the holidays.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to waking up on Christmas and just like in Thanksgiving and not have to wait on my father to call and tell him about what's going on. He gonna be able to see it, man. And I'm wishing that for everybody in terms of like just get with your family, man. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of Justin, for don't nobody out there, you know, risk or take no chances that will take you away from your family for the next 10, 15, 20 Christmases trying to get a gift for this Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Your presence is the present. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And I know that may be easy. That ain't really easy for me to say, but it might be easy. I'm not in that position. But trust me. You know what I mean? Your child wants you there more than anything. You know what I mean? So don't be out here playing around. Definitely target or victimizing somebody else. Trying to, and, you know, using, you know, Christmas to justify that. You know what I mean? Because this ain't, that ain't it, man.
This ain't it. Nah,
that ain't it, man. Don't get taken.
Don't get taken. I think that's a good way to end it.
Sure.
So, happy holidays to everybody that celebrates the holidays that we acknowledge in this month of December going into January. It's been an incredible year.
Yeah,
glad to be back on this platform after a
been
long hiatus.
Yeah, we back though.
And thank y'all for real, the folks who see us in public and talk about the podcast.
Yeah, man.
The folks who leave comments on social media, on the YouTube page. That keeps us going. We really appreciate that.
For sure.
And it's letting me know that we hitting the mark.
Doubt, man.
So, yeah.
Love
Until
y'all.
the next time, we love y'all. Keep tuning in. We're going to keep talking and keep trying to change the world. So, happy 2024.
Yeah. Sal, yeah. Peace and love.
Peace.